Hi, this is Rick, CEO, founder of XOSKIN. For today's Behind the Threads topic, I want to specifically talk about the PTFE yarns that are in all XOSKIN products. And that really has to do with my patent on PTFE. Those that want to read it, there's the number. It's about 18 pages long, probably bore you to death. But so we have a patent, we have a manufacturing trade secrets, and we have a proprietary compound. Much like Coca-Cola has a trademark they keep in the safe, we have a proprietary compound as well. So it's three things wrapped in one: patent, manufacturing trade secrets, and proprietary trade secret formulations. All that goes into making that PTFE yarn. Many of you know I always show you a bobbin of yarn. This is actually a bobbin of yarn, and that yarn goes on the Santoni TR machines if we're knitting tops and bottoms, or it will go on the sock machines, whether it's the flatbed knitting for toe socks or the traditional socks. This is actually the NanoGlide yarn. You can see it's a false twist textured yarn. When the yarn is on the bobbin, it's put under tension and then it goes into knitting. So on this yarn, there are the compound. Here's a picture, 300 and 2400 times magnification. You can actually see the yarns down here, and this blob here in the middle, that's the PTFE particle that's on the yarn. So here'd be a better animated picture of it. You can see it allows for vapor and air and moisture all to flow throughout that particle. So the PTFE part, as you know, I have a brand called NanoGlide, but I call the Rapid Dry copper and XOSKIN products, but the Rapid Dry is the PTFE part of our products. There's really no argument against NanoGlide in terms of the data. There is a lot of in vitro data on this product. I have a homework assignment for all of you that have never done this, is go on the XOSKIN website under XOSKIN testing, third-party testing. There's a Mid-Atlantic infrared report. It compares a North Face, an Under Armour, and Icebreaker wool product against XOSKIN. And I had a placebo control in there, which was an XOSKIN polypropylene shirt. And I wanted to compare how that performed against the XOSKIN nylon technologies. If you look at those videos and you read the report, there's second-by-second equipment measuring qualitative and quantitative data. You really can't argue against it. That data then shows the images of how the product dries. And if you look at the XOSKIN product, it dries very rapidly all over. That's because the yarns are put throughout the entire product. If you look at the other products, they dry left to right, right to left. That's because the hydrophilic chemistry was not applied evenly on the fabric substrate. So then that product kind of dries all over the place because there's no command and control of how that hydrophilic chemistry went in it. You as a consumer can do the same thing. You can buy hydrophilic chemistry online. You can put it in your washing machine and then put it in the dryer. And that's going to heat set the chemistry onto the fabric, and you've got basically your own branded shirt, which won't last forever, but it could do similar things that many brands sell with some big marketing term. So back to the PTFE part of it. I have data. I'm happy to send it to you all, but I used to do a big presentation when I went to all the factories. I had a big book, I had PowerPoints. But as an example, when we took polyester and nylon, knitted sleeves, knitted fabrics, and compared with PTFE products, there was no comparison because the sleeves without the technology would normally get a hole with Martindale rubbing around 150 cycles before a hole. The products that we had with the PTFE would go 1,500 rubs before a hole. So there's really no comparison. It's definitely better with, which cuts down on that friction, chafing, and hot spots, wet or dry. Remember, when your shirt is wet, you're creating higher contact angle. Now, back to this for a minute. This is what's not understood, I think, very well, and I haven't explained it probably very good either, is if you take a bucket of water and you throw it on the ground, that water is going to go down into the ground. Some's going to stay on the surface area. The surface area will dry either through the sun and the heat, or if there's good airflow, air that day, it's going to help dry the ground out. Similar concept here with XOSKIN or the PTFE in the XOSKIN products is we create a larger surface area with these particles. So when your shirt starts to get damp, it's going to move moisture more rapidly on the shirt because of the PTFE particles. It's hygroscopic, just like dirt is hygroscopic. So that's what the rapid dry part of the drying is. Again, go to the XOSKIN website and read that report from Mid-Atlantic Infrared. Steve now has a company in Colorado called Active Wear Dynamics, and he writes for many outside hiking magazines, and he publishes a lot. And what Steve does is he goes and buys companies' products, and then he rips them a new one, because his science and his data and his methodology is just spot on in what he does. And he basically puts brands on notice that you're falsifying your marketing claims. I do a lot of work with Steve, and that's how I started my relationship with him when he was at Mid-Atlantic Infrared, and now it's Active Wear Dynamics in Colorado. Smart guy. It's where I do my testing. But go read that report, and then you'll kind of understand kind of the method behind my madness, if you want to call it that, and how I want to build products for you all, the consumer. So that's the PTFE Nanoglide that's in all XOSKIN products. Now, I'm going to talk about evaporation and wicking for a minute, because everybody says they have a wicking shirt, right? Wicking, if you think about it, plants, trees, it's essential every day to our existence, basically, because plants and trees, food that we eat, has wicking. It has capillary action, right? It pushes water up the tree to the farthest point, to the farthest limb where the leaf is. It's no different here. Now, when I talk about capillary action, I can take this yarn and physically, mechanically manipulate it. I can put higher twist in it. I can put air tack. So when that yarn goes into the knitting, it's going to have better capillary action automatically without technology. And that's really important to understand. And that's probably one of the things that drove me the craziest when I used to go to all the outdoor retailer shows in ISPO, and I'd talk to product development teams, and I would find out that these young men and women, not all young, some are older, really don't understand yarns and textiles. They just go to the mill, point to it and say, build me that, put some hydrophilic chemistry on it, and you have a brand. It doesn't work that way, because you can manipulate the product's wicking and its ability and its capillary actions just through the physicals of the yarn and how it's built into the fabric. Also, the fabric weights have a lot to do with it, and airflow have a lot to do with it. But the PTFE part of it is going to cut down on the friction, the chafing, the hot spots, and it's going to help with the wicking and the evaporation. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when I get into a video on the new 2.1 shirts, which are about 25% lighter than the 2.0s. The other thing about the 2.0 shirts is if you hold this up and you look at it, see all those holes in it? That's why I bought those new machines I keep talking to you all about, because in conjunction with the PTFE yarn, these holes are going to help with rapid evaporation from that moisture off the skin. So your goal is always to get moisture off the skin as fast as you can for evaporation. But let's face it, on a hot, humid day, it's 80 degrees out, 85 out, it's humid as you know what, your fabric's going to get wet. The fabric is only as good as how much moisture it can evaporate. If it can't evaporate that much moisture, then your shirt's going to stay wet. If your shirt's wet, you're going to create higher contact angle, friction. This is where XOSKIN shines, both from wicking and drying, but also from friction. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope it didn't bore you too much. I try to make these things as interesting as possible and try to bring the textile as close as I can from us to you, because without you guys, this brand does not exist. So thank you for your time today, and make it a great day.